and welcome back to our SIGNL4 video series. Today we're going to go over the SIGNL4 time off management options. And we're going to go over this as both a user and as an administrator to show how all the options can be used for your entire subscription and all of your users. So the first thing I have here is I'm logged in as my Peter user with the plain user rights. This user is not an administrator of any team or is the global admin. He is just a user. So here is where I, as a user, would go in and input my time. So Peter has gone in and he's input time off inside of our time off database, and it has been improved. So now he's going to go ahead and input that here in SIGNL4, saying he will be gone on these dates. So now that Peter has his approval for his time off, he's going to go ahead and enter it inside SIGNL4. And this can be done for a user inside of the web portal. And what he would do is he would go ahead and click on his account icon up here in the top right, click on the My Profile option. So under My Profile, we're going to go ahead and click on My Absences, and this will expand out the My Absences box. What we want to do here is we want to go ahead and create an absence under the upcoming and ongoing, because it is coming up in the future here. And it's going to default to today's date and the type of vacation. So I'm going to go ahead and change the date. So he's off from the 29th through the 1st, the Sunday, and is going on vacation. However, we do have a number of options here, including a business trip, a sick day, a personal day, and other, if there's another option there that we don't have that you do use. So Peter here is going to take a vacation. And once that's in, he's going to go ahead and click on Save. So now that once that's done, if I go back in and out, this vacation stays up here and it'll show up for scheduling purposes as the users. And what we're going to do here is Peter's actually also, in addition to his vacation, he has a business trip next week from Tuesday to Thursday. So we're going to go ahead and input that in as well. So now we'll have two different time offs for Peter here. One is a business trip, so he is still working, but he won't be available to take incoming alerts as they arise. So we want to make sure that we're aware of that. And then secondly, we have Peter's vacation here where he'll be gone. He won't be able to do the work at all, as he should not on his vacation. So this is how our users will go in and enter their time off inside of the SIGNL4 subscription for your scheduling purposes. And if I go back under here, under the team, and under my shifts and duties, and I go ahead and I'm going to move over here to the week of January 11th through the 17th. I'm going to scroll on over here to Wednesday, and we'll see here Peter has a business trip on these 3 days. So it covers the entire day from midnight to midnight, from Tuesday to Thursday, showing you that, hey, this person has a scheduled absence and they may not be completely available for your subscription. However, what this does not do is it does not stop you from being able to schedule that user. It is just at this time informational for your purposes. So now that we have Peter has entered in his time off, I'm going to go ahead and log out and switch over to my admin user. So now here I have my admin user logged in and ready to go. So what the admin user can do is he can go ahead and go under here, under Teams, and he's going to go ahead and select the support team, which is where Peter has put in his time off. And if I go under Shift and Duty, and then I go ahead and click on the Duties tab, we'll go ahead and see the same exact thing we saw for Peter. If I go over here to the week of January 11th through the 17th, and I scroll over, we see that Peter's on that business trip for January 13th to the 17th. And if I scroll over a little bit more here to the end of the month, we'll see the vacation as well. And it is color coded with a different icon. And when we hover over it, it actually gives you the details, vacation versus business trip for the other absence. In addition to that, we actually give you the absences tab, which if we click on it, will show all of the absences scheduled for this team. And we can see here that Robert had a couple absences, a business trip and a vacation as well, but those have already passed. And Peter has these two upcoming. So they show lit while the past ones show grayed out. That's just to give you a quick overview of all the upcoming absences on your team. We also give you the ability to create an absence here. And as a manager, you can actually create the absence for anybody on the team. So I can go ahead and create a Bruce absence for, he's going to go ahead and go on a vacation with his significant other over Valentine's Day. So we're going to go ahead and mark that off for him, for Bruce. And then now we see the Bruce absence in here, as well as the 2 Peter absences. And if I go back to my duties again, we can scroll out a little bit and see the Bruce absence inside of the duties as well. So we show all of those vacations on the duties tab for your purposes, whether they're vacations, business trips, any of the absences that have been created. In addition to absences, we also have the ability to schedule holidays because, not everybody's going to work on holidays, but we don't want all of our users to have to create an absence for those holidays. So what we can do here is under shifts or duties, we have this little button here next to today and in between the date, which we call our manage holidays. If I go ahead and click on that, here's where I go in and set up my holidays for the entire year. And I can do this from year to year, however we see. Now, there's certain holidays that are always on the same date. So December 25th is always Christmas. So if I double click on this, it makes a recurring holiday, meaning if I go over to 2027, December 25th is still a holiday, and that continues forward. So we could set these official holidays as we see fit. And we also give our users off here. We give them off New Year's Eve and New Year's Day as a holiday. And we give off Christmas Eve as well every year. But at the same time, Thanksgiving changes every year. It's the 4th Thursday of the month here in the US. So we can go in and set that, but we need to set that individually every year. So that's a single click, and that makes it a holiday, but it's not recurring, meaning it doesn't show up next year because it'll be a different day of the month next year. So this is how we can go in and set up the holidays so that our users don't have to work on those days as well. And once we set up the holidays, we save that. Now what we would want to do is we actually want to go under our team and our signaling option, and we want to create a holiday override. And what we do here is we go ahead and click on the overrides button. I'm going to name this holidays, but we want to override specifically on holidays. So I turn off the 24/7, and under the first start date, I choose holidays instead of a day of the week. And what this is going to do for holidays on the entire workday of the holiday. So I can make this from midnight to midnight, or I can just do the workday 9 to 5, however you want to. What we want to do is we actually want to suppress signals unless they're an emergency. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to select suppress signals, and I'm going to go only for these categories. And then what I do here is I choose every category that is not the emergency categories. So I'm going to go ahead and choose everything that's not emergency or priority 1, because those are my high priority categories for this particular team on this account. So what this will do is on my holidays from 9 to 5, this will suppress every single alert from all of these categories, but allow any emergency or priority 1 category alerts to actually alert your user. So that means our users will only be alerted if it's an actual emergency, or I can just uncheck this categories thing and they won't be alerted at all throughout the entirety of the day, depending on how you need to run your alerting capabilities. Once this is done, I go ahead and click on save. And this will make it so my users, like we said, will not be alerted on the holidays unless they absolutely have to be. And then once I select the holidays option, you may have noticed here, I actually have a manage holidays button at the top, which will allow me to go in and set holidays without going back to the calendar. I can do it directly from this override. Because as you can see, there's holidays I've missed. I haven't knocked off July 4th. I haven't put in Labor Day. I haven't put in Memorial Day. There's other national holidays that we do have time off and that I still need to enter in here. But for now, we have enough in here. So I'm going to go ahead and save that. But we do have one last option to show here, and that is, let's say your user had to call in sick. So he's on the schedule for this week, but he had to call in sick, meaning he had to take some sick time. and created a sick absence here. So what we did here is we're going to say, I'm going to create an absence. I'm going to say that for today, Peter actually called in sick. He's unable to work. So I'm going to go ahead and save that absence. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and go back to the week view because it makes it a little bit easier. You can see here that Peter has a scheduled shift on that sick day. So we don't want to make him work it. So what we can do here is we're actually going to set a stand-in. And what I'm going to do is Peter needs a stand-in and for the entire duty, and Robert is his backup. So I actually want to convert Robert to be the primary. So we're going to leave Robert here as the stand-in user, but I can also choose Bruce if I wanted to. And once I do that, I click on the save button, and we'll see here that little bit of a shift that was already covered by Peter stays there, but the rest of this actually goes down to Robert. And because I have two different shifts there, it does show up as standby as well. But what I can do here for the standby, because I can't be both primary and secondary, but I can go ahead and set a stand-in for the secondary shift and send that over to Bruce. So now we've changed the entire shift around. So Bruce is secondary. I'm now primary, and both shifts are covered. Even though Peter is out sick for the day, we still cover both of the two shifts here. And as we can see here, after we switched our shifts around, we now show that Robert's on duty for the support team, as well as his other scheduled duty for our IT ops teams and SecOps. But the support team is the one we're looking at here. And we show that the Bruce is here as our backup for that shift as well. But then when we go back over here to tomorrow's shift, it's right back to where it already was, with Peter being primary and Robert being the backup. So it only takes out that one day using the stand-ins. And we could create stand-ins for anything. So let's say Robert has an appointment here for an hour tomorrow. What I can do here is, so Robert needs a stand-in. He's going to, has his appointment starts at 10 a.m. He's going to apply that, and his duty, he's only for 1 hour, and he's going to have Bruce be a backup for just that 1 hour. And we'll see here, it cuts that one section out of his shift and puts it up here for Bruce, allowing him to be the stand-in for just that 1 hour while Robert's at his doctor's appointment. And this is how we can use SIGNL4 for your time off management for sick days, doctor's appointments, holidays, and anything else you could think of, setting the system up properly to make sure that we still have the coverage we need on the times we need it. Thank you, and have a good day. Goodbye.